Thank you for joining us for this second midweek devotion from our Timeless Christmas Child Advent series based on songs and devotions by Kyle Matthews. Join us each Sunday morning for more of his songs and devotions. Mr. Matthews takes a look at the realities of Christmas from his standpoint, which may be a little different than how we generally look at the Christmas season today. And now, the instrumentals. Kyle Matthews asks, when you listen to a song, have you ever wondered how it first came from someone's mind? How did they come up with it? In some cases, no one person actually wrote the piece. Before we began keeping records, writing histories, publishing songs, and collecting royalties, people traded in songs and stories with little regard for credit or payment. Let's say a medieval peasant takes a liking to a motif that becomes a jig at the campfire. It's adapted by the common folk of his town and then carried around by traveling minstrels. Immigrant children sing it to a nursery rhyme. During a revolution in a neighboring country, the melody is set to a text that rallies political support. and in time, the first text is lost. After a great war, a composer weaves it into a symphony written for a coronation. 50 years later, someone in a New World saloon changes the backbeat, makes the melody go up instead of down on the second phrase, and makes a dance song out of it. A generation later, a music editor, needing a melody for a deadline, sets it again and publishes it in a hymnal. In the early 20th century, a theologian finds it in a forgotten edition of a hymnal, and he adds a verse. A rock band uses the melody in a hit song during the Jesus movement. At the start of the 21st century, a church music publisher adapts the text to include gender-inclusive language, and practically everyone else experiences the song as new. What quality must a melody have to live a life like that? What power must a text have to survive and inspire again and again, while even nations rise and fall all around it? Pat a Pan and Bring a Torch, which Roxy and Scott played for us, are two such melodies. The story of their composition and course of their lives is anybody's guess. They are ancient, but notice how naturally they surrender to modern styles. They are timeless. Was Pat a Pan a children's celebration dance? Or is it the second of a dangerous, primitive world Jesus was born into? Is it from a medieval play, played behind the scene of Mary and Joseph's flight to Egypt? Or is it the theme of the wise men's caravan? Who wrote Bring a Torch? And who was Jeanette Isabella? And did children dance or carry candles down the aisle when it was sung? And best of all, where do these melodies carry you? Can a person's life outlive its earthly span and become something lasting? Hebrews 11 talks about faith and all the people who had strong faith in God and who are examples for us hundreds of years later. Abraham, Jacob, Joseph, Moses, Samuel, David, and so many more. They lived a life that has continued on long after their death. When you consider the whole of human history, how many trillions of people have lived and died on this planet, it really seems silly to struggle for the short-lived recognition we often work so hard for, and at great expense to our health and our relationships. Especially with the knowledge we have that human life, like yours and mine, lived for eternal things, invested in the lives of others, we can live on through generations when we have shared Jesus with others. Like a melody always changing, but therefore always present in new forms. A timeless song shared